Good afternoon, I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. So you saw the question. I'm curious, I know this is opening a hornet's nest, but why not? It's Monday, Columbus Day. I should have asked, what do you think of Columbus? That would have sparked some controversy. That is an interesting issue. Hi, Brett. Hi, Bree, excuse me. I was adding a T to your name. What do you think of the NFL thing going on? Just comment in here if you want. I'm curious as to what people are thinking. Are you thinking that the football players should be bending down on knees? Do you think, hi Jan, how are you? What do you think of what the president and the vice president did? Went to the game, left when they got down on their knees. I'm just curious as to what you are thinking today. Hi Ernie, how are you doing? It is Monday. It is Columbus Day. Most of us are working unless you're a federal employee or the post office. Hi, Cindy. Then you have the day off and you can go do what you want to do while the rest of us keep the economy going for you. That's how kind we are. Protesting the flag is wrong, selfish move, okay? I think we give it way too much air. It needs to suffocate already. Ooh, Maddie, I like the way you put that. It needs to suffocate. Carlos, how are you, my friend? Hey, Rick, how are you? What do you guys think of the current protests in the NFL and all that's going on, the vice president? Here's somebody else came on here. I want to read your comment because I thought that was interesting. If they want to protest a political issue, they should do it on their own time. Maddie, you're welcome. No, I like that. Suffocate. That's kind of what I like to do with a lot of news issues, is just suffocate them. Hey, Destin, how are you? So what's up, Rick? How you doing? I'm doing good. Matt's in here today, so I got company. My editor, my friend, my photographer, my drone dude. He's in editing some stuff. We got 2 projects we got to get done by the weekend, and so we are busy editing, and I've been making phone calls. Carlos, Tom called me from Oakshire. I think we're going to get you to Oakshire this month, so I'm working on it. I do these things. We're pushing it. So what do you think of the protests over Columbus Day? It's getting attention, BC. We pay attention. It starts as police issues, and now it is it. Yeah, it's always got to be something controversial, doesn't it? As a culture. Okay, Jen, as a culture, what? Hey, John Dale, how are you doing? Are you still in Colorado? Way back in the Midwest. So what do you guys think of the NFL? You can type comments in here and let me know what you're thinking, because I'd love to know. One thing that I find very interesting about the whole thing is the hypocrisy that goes along with this. So if a football player wants to, get down on his knee and do that kind of thing, okay, that's a protest. But why is it any different if the vice president wants to come and then leave to show another protest? It's a protest is a protest. I don't have to agree with either one of them, but I still think it's a protest is a protest. I tell you, I'm a veteran in 3-year combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'm so tired of people using us veterans as a scapegoat to hate the players who practice free speech. I support their right. Oh, I'm sorry. I support their right to knee. Well, there you go, Jason. Good for you. That's an interesting idea. Leo, how you doing? I think we have other things to worry about. Our culture pays attention to the NFL. Do they want some cheese to go with their wine? I read that there's a reason for the football players to do this. Way back to talk. Sorry, hit the wrong button. It has now turned into a huge mess. People need to get over it. Hi, Michael McBride. Michael, that is an interesting way to spell your name. Michael? With a, yeah. So get over it how? How do they make the point if they don't protest? And should they be protesting on a I guess what bothers some people, I've just been listening on the radio to different places, and one of the things that I find interesting is how people are going, well, they make so much money, and what are they whining about? They're using their job. We can't use our jobs to whine. See, I don't relate to that because I do use my job to whine. So I can do it here. What do you think of what the vice president did? That he came to the game. And I'm just going from reports. I wasn't there. I haven't seen anything. I don't watch the news, so I'm just going from what I've seen. But the vice president goes to the game, and then when he sees the people kneel, he gets up and walks away. Is that okay? Is that okay for him to show a protest the same way that they show a protest? And somebody said on here, we have other things to worry about. What are some issues that you would think that Trump? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to use Trump, but that is the word, is that Trump this issue for you. I would be curious to see what that would be. I could come up with quite a few. I think we pay far too much attention to what the media wants to steer us into. We're like little sheep, and whatever they pick as a topic of... Sorry, that was my wife. She's calling and interrupting us. Whatever they pick as the issue of the day, we then follow through and listen to. And then if it's not an issue that the media picks, then we ignore it and we don't pay attention to it. And the more you pay attention to some of the outlying, offline, obscure little news comments around, I think it's really interesting that there are a whole bunch of other things going on out there. And just when people start screaming about one thing, there's something else coming on out there. I was watching a show, Cheryl Atkins, and I know some of you think she's some right-winger. She's not. But she had some really interesting stories on last night talking about Obamacare. And she talked to this expert in health insurance, and he calls it zombie care. And he was talking about how the rates are going to go up again, and how that Trump's probably not going to get anything done until March, or if anything. And the current system is falling apart. And so, it's really what you listen to and what you do. I'm not saying we shouldn't have health care, but is this system really working? And are we educating ourselves, or are we just going with what we're told? And I think that's part of the problem, is we're much faster to go, well, I agree with them because that sounds like what it should be for me. When are we really looking into it and seeing what really matters and what's going on with it? So I don't know. That's for you to answer. Now, I don't see it. Wait, hold on. Oh, there. God, you guys are coming on here. What happens is this thing stops showing. It's a bit dramatic. Hi, Paul Bondi. What makes me mad is the kids follow these NFL players and they have no clue what they are doing for it because of a trend. Destin. Players are so out of touch with what the real problem is in this country are. They are overpaid and overprivileged. I'm just reading what people are saying here. I agree with Jason. I think he did the right thing. You think the vice president did the right thing. I support our president and vice president 100%, somebody says. They could go out and take the knee before the national anthem and stand for the anthem when it begins. Brett, hey Brett, how you doing? Albert, how are you? Jenny, I disagree with the vice president's statement, but with his right to protest. But you agree with his right to protest, okay. I'm glad the NFL has lost their tax-exempt status. A corporation like that should pay a fair tax. I agree with that. Good God, how much money are they making? You better not ignore your wife. You'll be on the couch. Oh, she doesn't know what I'm on, so she doesn't know. How did you go from Black Lives Matters to kneeling during the anthem? This is the bad as poor guy that was fired from his probationary job on a Detroit firefighter for the watermelon thing. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about, Diane, but I'm sorry. I'm not up to date on that. I decided my thoughts on the topic and moved on. Not with my time or energy. IRS, just a distraction by the mainstream media, okay? Wow, you guys have got a lot of comments on this, doesn't it? The government paid the NFL, the Patriot. God, this thing's just moving. Jeez, folks, look at this. That is a can of worms we just opened, didn't it? I haven't watched NFL in weeks. Yeah, I'm not a big football player watcher either. To me, the national anthem is one of my favorite parts of the event. It's time to reflect on how fortunate we are, the country, to have this thing. This is like really a big deal to a lot of people, isn't it? I mean, it really gets people going. What would you, Karen Wu, hi, welcome. Yeah, we're just talking about NFL, vice president, what you think, knees, not knee, protests during games, protests not during games, what's your right, what do you think? I'm a jersey-wearing Cowboy fan, she says. Kneel before the game and stand for our anthem. That seems pretty. Doug Udell. It's finally come out. The NFL rulebook says that the players must honor the national anthem by standing with helmet in their hand and facing the flag. They did not hesitate quickly to ignore that part of the rule. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Protests, but not at work. Why did they just leave the players in the locker room until kickoff? Wow. So you guys are pretty strong about this, thinking that that the NFL should take some action and make these guys do this. It sounds like. Peggy, just because these guys are dedicated, okay, a stunt, it still costs taxpayers $200,000 greenback, so Pence was a menace on walking out, in my opinion. Okay, Jeff, that's your opinion. You get that, and I appreciate that. This is what I miss about Eugene, people discussing things without hating each other. Oh, Jenny, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I would totally disagree with you. Maybe on here, yeah, but not in Eugene. I'm sorry. We are one of the most intolerant communities ever. But that's our country. We are intolerant of each other. We tolerate each other as long as you agree with me. And as soon as you disagree, I had a lady on here claiming I was racist because a year ago I said something about, I was talking nothing to do with race, nothing. I was talking about Democrats and Republicans and my disdain for the far left and the far right, and how where are people in the middle? Where are the people that look like us to vote? For people that represent us, that look like us. And she took that like I was saying white guys. That's not what I meant. And everybody that went back and listened to it knew that was not what I meant. But she wanted to try to make me into a racist. That's called intolerance. It's called she's being a racist. And you can't do that to each other. That's not a conversation. I'm sorry, Jen, I'm not. I don't think so. I mean, I think we are just as bad as any place else. I mean, I love this town. But we are just, this country we are not having discussions anymore. The people on here, I think we are right now. This is awesome. But this is not reflective of what's going on in our country. You got people on both sides of these issues, and they're just fighting to fight. I mean, it's horrible. I think it's terrible. And it's not getting better. Jen, I am not addressing my anger at you, okay? This whole topic, just not this topic, but the topic of inclusion, and in diversity. We should have diversity, but the very people who want diversity are not being diverse and letting other conversations into this thing. They shut people down. They shut you off. If you don't agree with them, they don't want to hear what you have to say. And nobody's listening. They're blabbing with their frickin' mouths, and they're not listening with their ears, because when your mouth's moving, your ears are not hearing. And so you got all these people out there, and they've got their opinion. They listen to Rush, or they listen to this left-wing guy, or Stephanopoulos, or whoever it is. And then that's the facts and the truth because they heard it on the news, or because the person they like said it. That's not tolerance, and that's not having a conversation. And that's what we need to be doing in this country, is we need to be talking. We need to be listening to each other, and we need to shut our frickin' mouths long enough to hear what the other people are saying. Because it's not going to change. And this is what they want us to do. I really believe that. That how do you get ratings if you don't have people that have some controversy? You know, it's just like this whole thing. How do you have people watching? What if we just settled it and moved on? So what do we have in common? When you meet people, what do? You find out what they have in common with them. You don't go looking and say, okay, you're black, I'm white. Now we can't, that's a difference. I know that, but what do you do? What do you like to do? You like to run? Hey, so do I. You're black, I'm white. We both like to run. Let's go run. I mean, is this brain surgery? Oh, you have a 3-year-old? I have a 30-year-old. You have a boy, a kid? Yeah. Oh, let's see what we have in common. That's how you do this. I mean, good night. When you pick people, you shouldn't be picking them for the color of their skin, their sexual orientation. I have friends all over the place, in all different areas. It doesn't mean I have to agree with everything that everybody else does. It means I just have to love them because they're my friends. I mean, what the hell is wrong with us? I don't get that. I do not understand that. So if you're listening to, if you're just hanging around people that think like you are so boring, and you're not learning anything, because you're just listening to the blah, 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 blah. That's called preaching to the choir. So go listen to people who don't think like you. Go find out. You should be listening to, if you're a left-winger, you should be listening to right-wing radio to find out what the hell they're talking about. If you're a right-winger, you should be listening to left-wing to find out what they're talking about. And then maybe somewhere in there you find a little bit of truth. And then you get that little bit of truth and you start working with that. But see, none of this is going to work if you don't have a conversation, a relationship with the people you're dealing with. It's just like church. Church loves to make all these rules and do all these things to people, say this is what you're supposed to do and you got to be good and you need to be doing this without having a relationship with them. If you do not have a relationship with them, you cannot tell people your opinion or what you think they should be doing. It's not your business. So in other words, shut your mouth. So the best way to do this is to become friends with people, have relationships with people, especially people who are different than you and think differently than you do. And then you start listening to them and going, I wonder why they do think like that. And then 9 chances out of 10, if you sit and listen, you will discover that there's a human being in there and they have real good reasons for why they believe they believe it. Doesn't mean you have to believe it. Doesn't mean you have to agree. But it means you do have to listen and you have to take that time. There's people on here right now. We don't see eye to eye on everything. It doesn't matter. I still call them my friends and I trust them. I mean, this is how life works. And somehow we have allowed the current culture we live in to decide for us what we're doing. If this really bothered the vice president, that's one thing. However, to hear reports that he traveled on taxpayer dime across the country and then told his support staff to stay on board. Irma, that doesn't freak me out that much. I mean, okay, so that's one report out there. Then I heard a report on the radio. They were talking about this whole issue, and somebody brought up how much Obama used the plane to go do things that were, not any different than this, really. Not this same thing, but not any different. I mean, and you're hearing it from the media. Again, we're listening to them go, let's dissect this thing. I guess the bottom line for me is, does he have the right to protest the same thing? And I guess he does. And wherever he travels, wherever the Obamas or the president or the vice president travels, we're picking up the bill no matter what it is anyway. That's my opinion. But I don't know. But it is funny how we start nitpicking at that, but we don't do that with the football players, or we nitpick at the football players, or we don't pick at Pence. And again, to me, I think the problem with all that is we're listening to the media. What are their questions? What are your real questions? That's what matters, really, is what are our questions, not what is their agenda. And that's what bugs me the most, is it's always the questions that they want to bring up. And it drives me nuts. Which is why I don't listen very much anymore. I had to listen to the radio this morning just to even know what you're even talking about. I was coming in going, oh, of course, tit for tat, tit for tat, tit for tat. Yep, it's true, Jen. Yeah, it really is. So maybe we need to just... Here's an idea. What if we distanced ourselves just a little bit from the cultural conversation about what's going on? Really, Rick? It was on the news. The coach explained it his way, so they took to a knee. President Trump did the right thing. I don't know what was on the news. I don't listen to the news. No, Jen, you didn't get us off topic. This is what life is about. I think that, don't be sorry. I think this is what conversation is. It goes from one thing to the next, but I think we ended up where this is supposed to be. So anyway, distance yourself from the cultural conversation and instead go find some agency or someplace. What are some things we can do that are positive? You know what I mean? Instead of talking about this, maybe you should go hang around some people of different ethnicities and find out what they really think. Why is this important to them? Why is this such a big deal to them? And then again, you don't have to agree with it, but if you have a question about it, don't go to the media. Go to some people of color. Go to some people with different ethnic backgrounds. Go to some people with different sexual orientations and ask them, why does this bother you? So you can put that in your education basket and stop listening to what the media wants you to believe and start listening to the real people that this affects. Hi, Laura, how are you? So anyway, that's my soapbox. But you guys honestly do it. You're going to do what you want to do, and that's great. I'm just saying how I'm trying to handle my life right now. Is I am not going to judge my decisions and my basis off of what they're telling us to do. I'm going to go ask the questions, and that's why I ask you guys. I think it's very interesting to see what people are saying and who's coming on and what they're talking about. And I don't know most of you. I know some of your names. But here, what's nice is let's just keep the politics stuff out of it. Let's just keep some of that kind of stuff and just offer opinions. And if we do this, you guys, if we do it and we're kind about it and we can ask questions and do that, that's great. I don't watch the NFL, but here goes. Although they have the right to protest and they are damn lucky they have the right, they are absolutely disrespectful when they stand for that. Okay, see, now Jill just offered her opinion. And that's great. So then if somebody disagreed with that, one of the ways you could come back and say, well, Jill, I disagree. And I'm giving you an example. Jill, I disagree with you. Here's why, and da-da-da-da. But what we do is we slam it. No way, Jill, you're wrong. For you to even say that. And see, that's where this all gets out of whack. That's what doesn't work. We have to start listening. We have to start hearing what each other's saying. So many, many years ago, I was the president of the City Club of Eugene. And it was the year prior to that, I was asked to come and give a Christmas gift. Every year they do a Christmas thing and they give a gift to the city. So I went and gave them the free lunch program. So I'm going to give you, to close this out for today, I'm going to give you the free lunch program. So this is how it works. If you think you don't like an NFL player, take an NFL player to lunch. If you think you don't like someone who's gay or lesbian, take a gay or lesbian person to lunch. If you don't think you like straight people, take a straight person to lunch. If you don't think you like people of color, take a person of color to lunch. If you don't think you like Christians, take a Christian to lunch. If you don't think you like atheists, take an atheist to lunch. If you don't think you like people who live in South Eugene, then take someone from South Eugene to lunch. If you don't think people in Springfield are very good, then take somebody from Springfield to lunch. And here's the best part. Then when you go to lunch, shut your trap. Keep your mouth shut. And you listen. And here's the even better part. You pay for it. You invite them. You pay for it. There's no government subsidy. There's no city that's going to pay for it. There's no federal grants or no state grants or nothing. We can do this by ourselves. You take them out. You listen. You shut up. You pay. Don't depend on government and everybody else to do this for you. And then you walk away and guess what? You'll have a whole different attitude about what things are like. And at least, even if it doesn't change your attitude or your opinion of people that you don't know, at least you did something about it. And at least you educated yourself. But I will bet you 90% of those people who do that will walk away and go, maybe I don't agree with that, but I was wrong. They have a heart. They're kind. They do these things. So that's your assignment. Take that and smoke it. You're so right, Rick. When flapping your gums. Are you talking about me flapping my gums? I think everybody needs to listen a little more. I think everybody needs to listen a lot more. I used to also tell kids this. If your mouth's moving, your ears are shut. When your mouth stops, your ears open. So, anyway, that's my lame little piece of advice today. And Jenny, exactly. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's not. I have been wrong so many times. I've been wrong so many times about people and about stuff and judging and thinking somebody was this way and every time if I really go there and do this right, God slaps me upside the face with my own stupidity. So yeah, go be wrong. I think we grow up and we're supposed to always have the right answers and stuff. I think that what's much better is to grow up and realize that you can be wrong and you can change your mind. I noticed this when I ran for office. If I changed my position on stuff when I was running, the press came after me and it was like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Haven't you ever learned something and then you changed your mind? But see, we don't want people to change their mind. We try to make that into being fickle. That's called being human when you start understanding things. So anyway, we may need to nickname you the Reverend or the Rev. Yeah, Thomas, do not nickname me the Reverend. You can call me Rabbi. I don't want, no. I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just telling you, this is how it is. And if we don't resist, yeah, I like the hashtag resist. If we don't resist the temptation to be part of the shit train, we are going to be in deep caca. You have to stop. You have to stop and do what you think is the right thing. Reverend name belongs to Craig. All right. Well, that was a little different than what I was thinking we were going to do today, but oh well. Thank you for sharing your opinions. Thank you for not biting each other and beating each other up. Because if we take this little example and we throw it out into the world, all of a sudden you realize this is what we can do. So if this was fun for you, share it on your page. If it wasn't, don't. You need to run for governor, please. Ron, I will run from a governor because they would eat me alive. And I'd rather eat from the outside. I can chew them up way better than I can if I'm working there. So I will not be running for governor or any other elected office because I've done that. And that didn't work. So I'm going to be out here and be a bigger troublemaker. This is where the trouble's made. What you guys don't understand is we the people are the power. It says it right at the beginning of the Constitution. And we forget that. We forget that. We the people. And all these little fringe groups in the right and the left, and they think they run this, and they do run it because we allow them to. We've abdicated our responsibility, and we're apathetic, and then we all sit around and go, no, this is wrong. How come people are doing this? It's because you and I are not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So we should be speaking out. We should be saying what we think, and we should be doing it at the ballot box, but also in the public square. And don't let people push you around. I mean, you just can't. But then on the other side of it, if you're listening and you're being kind and you're in relationship with people, you won't have to. You don't have to. See what I mean? Then it becomes friendship and you're just discussing that. I have 3 friends right now. I can think of them right now. And we probably are very different in our politics and that kind of stuff, but we're becoming really good friends because we have some really important things that we believe in. And that's that people matter, that people have a voice, and that it should be heard. And so you find the things you believe and you put them together and you take the other stuff and you just let it settle out on the side. All right? Okay. Have a good day. Share this if you want to. Thank you, Rick. Great reminder to hear the story of others. Yeah. All right. Well then, let me tell you just real fast. Tomorrow we're going with Hungry Duck and we're going to try a new food cart. I'm not going to tell you which one. You'll just have to tune in and find out. That's at noon. On Thursday, we're going to be at Sweet Life talking with Shelter Care about some really cool event that's coming up in zombies and all kinds of stuff like that. It's a big month for Shelter Care, so we're going to be talking to them. And on Friday, we are going with Eugene Mortgage Brokers out to the fairgrounds where they have stand down. This is for homeless veterans. They bring them out to the fairgrounds and they take care of them. They offer them services, they help them, they find things for them, they connect them with people. So that's going to be a really super, super fun day on Friday too. And then on Sunday, you guys should join us at 11 o'clock at Alton Baker Park. We're going to be live from there doing a march out of the darkness. And it's basically awareness about suicide. And we're going to talk to some really cool people who've had really horrible things happen in their lives in terms of suicide issues. But how they're using that to kind of do some cool things. So that's the weekend shows. Other than that, I will just be back to bother you from time to time when I want to. Jill, thank you. I thought it was a great topic too, and thanks for voicing your opinion. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day, good Monday, good Columbus Day.